Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are doing a vacation home for Lily. I really liked this, actually. I think it's like one of my favorite vacation homes that I've done so far. I almost wanted to rename it to like a secret garden or something, but I think that the name that the prompt generated was fine. This is just her default one. I really like the glowing moss items. I hardly ever use them just because like they don't fit in with anything that I'm trying to build, like when it comes to my islands, but I like using them on the Happy Home plots. I think they're really cool. Same thing too with like the vine items, especially the hanging vines that you can put on the ceiling. I was going to use those in this build, but I didn't end up doing it. However, I think the vine items are also really cool. I wish that we had more things. Like I wish we had like a vine table that was like wood and vines, and I wish that we had a bed. I don't know how that would look. I'm imagining like maybe something that's like wood framed with vines like on the headboard and maybe the footboard as well, or maybe vines like creeping upward like a 4-poster bed, except all the posts are vines instead of wood. I think that would be really cool. It would go along well with like the lamp and the hanging chair. Maybe like a little side table too. I don't know, like there are so many items that I wish we had complete sets of. Like we're still missing stuff from the log series. It used to be the cabin series in the older games, but now it's like log in this one. And we used to have a wardrobe. There was a single bed as well. And I think there was like a few other pieces. Same with the ranch series. There was a ranch armchair and a ranch couch, and we don't have those here. Anyway, I said that I was going to talk about my trip to Dallas in this video. This is like the last time I think we're going to be talking about it. So the final night that we were there, I already mentioned the whole thing that we did for dinner. If you didn't hear that, go back and watch the video that I talked about it in. It'll be up in the cards, probably also down in the description as well. I don't know. But we came back from dinner. As we got back, it was like when the banquet was letting out, because we were there at dinner for like about 4 hours just because of how long the service took. They did end up taking off drinks and desserts from our tabs because they took so long, and because like initially they didn't bring out all of the drinks that we had ordered. Like I had wanted a Coke because I didn't want to drink water from their tap, and instead they just completely forgot to bring the Coke out. So they took that off the bill. I think they took our dessert off as well, so we only ended up really paying for the entrees, which was fine, but whatever. So we got back, and a couple of friends that my boyfriend has that I'm like friends with too, but they've known him for longer. One of them had a bunch of snacks that she had brought from Hawaii with the intention of like giving them out to people, and she gave them all out to the people that she had planned to, but she also wanted to give some to me, and we just hadn't really gotten a chance to see each other for her to do that throughout the week because of so many things going on, and they were always up in her room. They weren't like in her backpack with her. So we went up to their room. She gave me this giant plastic bag from like a grocery store that was filled with snacks. There were small bags of chips in various flavors. Like I think there was like a jalapeno or a habanero one. There was like a luau barbecue one. There were like several. I think there was like a sweet Maui onion. There was a giant like Ziploc bag filled with individually wrapped pineapple gummies, which were a huge hit because another friend of ours also gives out snacks from Hawaii, because like she comes from Hawaii as well as this person and several other people from the Hawaii delegation. So she had the gummies, and I had never had one before, and my boyfriend never even knew they existed, and he grew up there. They're literally just pineapple shaped gummies, and they taste like pineapple, and they are so good. So she had given me a couple earlier in the week, and then her and her husband had like these little keychains that they had gotten from somebody, I think someone local that they know, like they make the keychains, and I chose one that I think had a pineapple carved into it. I can't remember. It's somewhere in my backpack right now as I'm talking, but I got those from our friend, the bags with the chips and the gummies, as well as a bag of chocolate covered macadamias, but like they're individual macadamias. They're not clusters. And I think there's something else over them. I think it's like toffee or something. I think the brand is Hawaiian Princess. And there was something else in there too. I think there were just like little bags of sea salted macadamias. So that was really nice of her. her, and then we just went back to our room after we went back down to the lobby and said goodbye to everybody and took some pictures and stuff, because a lot of people were getting up the next day to go on tours and we were getting up to leave. So we went back to our room, finished packing the rest of our stuff, got up the following morning, finished packing like our last minute things, and ate, because we had some food still, like there were yogurts and granola bars and whatever. So we ate in the room, and then we got a Bellman and we went downstairs. So we were told by several people to leave very early because we were coming from like downtown or whatever. We had to go through downtown to get to the Fort Worth airport. My flight was at like 11 something and my boyfriend's flight was about an hour later. So we got a Lyft. Of course, there was no traffic as we went to the airport, which was so bizarre. We left at like 8 something. We got there at around 8:30, 8:45. My boyfriend was dropped off first because we were taking 2 different airlines. He was going back to DC and I was going back to Boston. And the next day he had to get on a train to New Jersey to go do some stuff with his family that week who were like visiting other family in New Jersey. We get to the airport, he gets off, then I get off at my terminal, which is at like the complete opposite end of the airport. And I checked in for my flight. Well, I had already checked in, but I had to check my bag. They had a person come to do like the meet and assist thing. I was able to go through TSA, no problem. It was pre-check, it was fine. This guy was okay, I guess. Like, he was fine. So we get to the gate, he leaves as usual, and I'm just sitting there. There was an Einstein Brothers bagels like literally right next to my gate. So I was like, oh, this is perfect, because I really like their bagels and I hadn't had one in a million years. So I got an Asiago bagel with egg and cheese on it. Like, it was their bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, but it was without the bacon. And as I was there, of course, I get the notification that my flight has been delayed, which is just fantastic. Pretty much everybody else in line with me was on my flight. So we were all like, oh no. It wasn't delayed that long. It was delayed like by about, I think 45 minutes or an hour or something, because the plane was delayed coming from Boston. I think it was like a back and forth flight. And at that point there was weather somewhere on the East Coast or something. So there were issues. So then my boyfriend, his flight, keep in mind, left about an hour after mine. His suitcase was actually loaded onto an earlier plane to DC because he got to the airport so early. Mine was not loaded onto an earlier flight to Boston because I wasn't as early, and I don't think there were any other Delta flights going to Boston. So his flight was also delayed. He had to change gates twice. He was in Terminal A, I was in Terminal E or something. He had to change gates twice. His plane was delayed because a bird hit it or something, or maybe it was delayed prior to that, and then it was delayed even more because a bird hit the plane on its descent into Dallas, which sucks. So I'm already on my plane and I'm taxiing, and he was supposed to leave like at the same time as my flight was now leaving. I unfortunately had somebody sitting next to me on this flight. I was in the window seat. Initially, the middle seat was empty. However, the crew members that were supposed to be on the flight originally were now passengers because of the flight being delayed by like an hour and 45 minutes or whatever. Because here we were on the tarmac, and they said that we still had to get clearing to take off because of the weather. Something to do with air traffic control in Atlanta. I think they were able to like clear us. I don't know how it works. It sounds weird. So the person sitting next to me was a flight attendant, and I don't think she liked me at all. I mean, being on the flight with her, I guess, was fine. But when we landed, of course, there was not a meet and assist person ready to see me in Boston, and I had to meet my father, and the flight was so delayed. He had been at the airport for like an hour or something waiting for me. The flight attendant took me down to baggage, and if you've ever been to the Boston Logan airport, you'll know that it's a pain. I came in to Terminal A, which is Delta, going down to baggage. I was kind of familiar with it. We were at the carousel, and then she just leaves. She was like very concerned about somebody coming to get me, and I kept being like, it's fine, like there's someone here, he's outside, it's fine. And then she's like, all right, bye, I have to get on my bus and go home. So here I am at baggage. The bags have not started coming out yet. I call my father. He was actually like right in there at baggage, so he saw me. We were able to get my bag, and then we get in the car, and then we go home. The whole thing was fine. It was just a weird interaction with the flight attendant. And then I got home. I ate some like leftovers that had been brought over by a family friend. I guess like they had a cookout or something and they had leftovers, and then I went to bed. But I have rambled so so long about this. Overall, the trip was fine, other than me being sick for like 90% of it. That really sucked. However, we're done with Lily's vacation home. As usual, we got 40,000 Poki for our work. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!